Okay, so we're having a chat today. Pegasystems fairly recently published research on intelligent automation implementations. So I guess it'd be just nice to know what the thinking behind, what the plan was when you started out on the research, what you were looking to discover.
Yep. So, I mean, the basic fact is that automation projects are failing much too often, right? So, but there are also a lot of successful companies who are doing intelligent automation, and Pega really wanted to understand and find out why. And we had an idea that perhaps it was not only Pega that was the reason for successful projects, right? And really, it's all down to the basic things are the people, the process, and the technology that you use. And really, it kind of digs down into each of these three different things. Oops, sorry about that. Into these three different things, and tries to kind of pinpoint with each of these what it is that's the key to success in intelligent automation. And to ensure that customers don't get left behind. Intelligent automation is going to be is a big differentiator, and of course your digital transformation is as well. So that's really what it is about, and I think it's a good read for anyone really who's about to embark on intelligent automation and on digital transformation in general.
So, in terms of the findings of the report, I think there were three sort of key things, and the first one was around the necessity or the importance of someone at executive level, I guess board level, buying in and championing the idea of intelligent automation. Is that right?
Yeah. So a majority of projects, like 80%, you only have one exec sponsor. And really, again, we're talking about transformational projects here. So you need to have a broad support across your whole organization. So having buy-in from multiple execs is, it's a key factor of success really. And it's a key factor again of making your projects truly transformational. You could see that the ones that have multiple exec sponsorships, perhaps across the whole, C-suite, they are to a large degree very successful. While with the ones that haven't, it's more of a mixed bag, really. So you can really point to that and say that this is truly a measure of success. And again, you need broad collaboration between all lines, all functions in your company for these projects to be successful. So
Okay.
that's it.
And I guess sort of logically, if you've got a lot of execs that are championing it, then they will sort of push down the organization, and you'll get many more sort of employees at various levels, etc., buying in, and that again, the whole organization or as many people as possible buying in and subscribing to the idea of intelligent automation is another key factor. I guess also, without being is it possible to have employee buy-in without the execs, or as I say, does one naturally follow the other?
I would say, they of course stay together. I think a number of projects, start kind of go from ground up, in more sense. But in the end, they tend to be not as successful, and again, not as transformational, because they're you come down from a silo and you kind of move upwards. They tend to be siloed, and so well, to us anyway, one measure of success is really how transformational they are across your whole organization. And when you don't have that support, it just doesn't happen. But of course, there's been successful projects who have a limited exec sponsorships, of course. But again, if you really want to be successful, ensure broad buy-in from your C-suite.
Okay, and the third one intrigues me slightly, the idea you need a strong governance framework. So when you're talking about governance, is that within the organization or referring to governance outside and making sure people are complying with that? Where are you coming from with that point?
So governance is really about, ensuring that you maximize your desired outcomes, and that there's consistency across, all usages of your processes, etc. So I would say it's more of an internal thing to ensure, really, have a formal way of ensuring that your projects are delivering what they are supposed to. And again, this is surprisingly uncommon. Only about 30% have formal governance, but you can really see that that it is a success factor. And again, all these three key things really come together. A lot of the projects which have wider support, they also have better governance. It's a higher percentage there, really. So all these key takeaways really comes down to a thing which I've seen across my whole professional life. It's really about the people that are that invest in and are invested in, gets invested in in this, and that will have ripple effects in how things are governed, and how things kind of turn out. So that's that's really the key takeaway. It's about the process and about the people.
Okay, and the Pegasystems yourself, you've recently launched a Process AI platform. Is that the magic piece of software that provides the governments, or is it doing something completely different? Can you tell us what that solution is doing?
Pega Process AI, which we will be fully announcing and revealing at our upcoming Pega World Inspire on the May 4th, is a new product for us. But it's really not. This is very mature technology that we've had in production with many companies for I think up to 10 years for some of the components in it. And what it really does, it enables artificial intelligence for intelligent automation, where you can tap into machine learning and such things to help you make decisions, make predictions about what will happen, and make recommendations of next steps and next best actions. So it really has more to do about the execution of your processes than it is about putting them in place, I would say. And I think it's a beautiful product, especially in the sense that these components are already making literally billions of predictions and recommendations daily in other parts of our products, in our marketing and customer decision on products. They're already doing that for customers globally. So now we're just enabling them for our more core intelligent automation, case management, and process automation type things rather. So this is gonna off the bat be a truly mature and delivering a product, which to me is really part of the beautiful thing about it.
And I mean, it'd be nice. Is it fit in one of the industry categories? I mean, is it an AIOps product, value stream management? Does it? I mean, maybe not matter that much, but where would you place it in the scheme of all the different sort of management tools there are there at the moment?
Oh, that's a really good question, because it's really so foundational, I think, to our platform, that it enables you. Because if you look at any type of process, you will be making decisions of all kinds, across, really anywhere. And when especially if you are more of a data-driven company with large number of transactions or a lot of inputs, this can really help you adapt more. So I think it's hard to name any particular area, because we feel that this, again, it being so very much core to our platform, it will really enable AI as we see it across all of our customers, which is beautiful. Of course, today it's already doing its thing in one-to-one marketing, and again in for next best action type things for customer decision hub, which for for customer service and similar things where it's already delivering super value for a lot of customers. But now it's really looking interesting. I guess that up until now it's been more of a sort of outwards facing functionality. Again, marketing, customer service, but now also users inside of your company can benefit of AI in processes, etc., which of course is great, right?
Yeah, and I guess that matches at the moment. There seems to be a big trend on not just the sort of CX, the customer experience, but also the digital experience, employee experience, particularly during the 12 months we've just had. It seems to be growing important, to make sure that the employees have the right tools and are happy with their IT infrastructure as well. So it plays to both those audiences. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it starts really, I mean, that really goes for anyone, customers or employees. I mean, it doesn't start with the app. It doesn't start with, what you have on the screen. It starts, of course, with what is it that you want to get done? What are the outcomes that you want to achieve? And that's really where, where we at Pega start our thinking. We call that center out business architecture. You can call it anything you want, but it's really about that process, about the outcomes, and then what kind of app, what kind of channel, what kind of system it is. That's going to vary, could vary from person to person, and definitely from customer to customer. But you need to start there. You don't start with the screen. You start with the outcome, right? And then you kind of work yourself backwards from that, and that's how successful systems gets put in place. And I think that's what customers generally love about our Pega projects, is that we are very much into starting right there.
Okay, and just maybe before we close, intelligent automation generally, I mean, obviously you carried out the research. Was it overall positive? Were you pleasantly surprised that quite a lot of people are managing it successfully, or were you a bit depressed that, as you highlighted them, there are projects that are failing? How would you sort of characterize the market at the moment, the successful failure rate, if you are able to, and how do you see it hopefully changing over time?
Yeah, so intelligent automation is, of course, I mean, it's really as a software niche in itself, or whatever you want to call it, it's fairly new. I mean, people have been doing it for a long time, but as a productized market, it's pretty new, and it's pretty small, but it's growing. I saw figures just the other day which says that it's going to be a $230 billion market in 2025, and they say it's 12 billion now. So that's 20x in 5 years.
You're gonna be busy.
Oh yes. Wow. And of course, I certainly hope that Pega will grow 20x in 5 years, but I don't know if that's realistic. So there's going to be new players. There's going to be some companies which are going to grow really big, likely in this time. I think Pega will grow even bigger, but there's some ones that are going to face some explosive growths. I think that the interesting niche ones are likely going to get acquired, because you see that there are some established players, and there are some established non-IA players who want to get in on this feast. So there's going to be newcomers in a lot of places, and a bunch of them will get gobbled up. I mean, you can see that even now. You see that, for example, RPA is big topic at the moment. They're all, I'm not going to say it's not like a pivot, but they're sort of turning towards broader intelligent automation, and expanding their coverage in some sense to bring in AI, bring in more things like case management, etc. And the opposite is even more true. RPA vendors are getting bought by platforms vendors like Pega, or like even bigger platforms like like Microsoft or Google or whoever wants to, or Oracle or whoever wants to, play in the IA space. Same goes for AI. I mean, that there's not a day that goes by without 3 PhDs in a corner WeWork office are getting bought out for hundreds of millions. And it's a very cool market, and of course for the customer it's great. There's going to be more choice. The technology and the products are maturing. There's going to be more coherent offers from companies like Microsoft or like us. So it's going to be this growth, I think, is going to be followed. It is being painful, as we see in this. A lot of failed products, I think, is going to go down as we go from delivering more of bespoke type projects to standardizing to finding better models. It's going to be great.
Okay, maybe just finally, in terms of if there's someone who's relatively new to the idea, as plenty of I guess customers, end users would be, are there one or two sort of bits of advice you'd give them as they're looking at, we've examined the importance of those 3 pillars of the sort of execs, everyone else getting involved, the governance, but in terms of evaluating a possible way in, with a solution, what sort of things should they be, looking at when assessing their options?
I think that when you're looking at investing in intelligent automation today, you're going to see one thing that new customers are going to see is that the sort of mantra today is really that you see is RPA is intelligent automation, and it is not. It is definitely a part of good intelligent automation. It's one of the foundational technology of intelligent automation, but it is not the whole thing. You should think about that and find solutions which do more than that and has a good track record of doing more than that. Of course, IA, I think, is going to be the first or one of the first niches or verticals or whatever that are truly low code. Don't go anywhere but low code today. It will transform how you do your development, who does your development, and who gets involved in bringing your solutions, to implementation and to success. So that's going to be really big, I think, and you should be evaluating that and figuring out how that applies to you, because it is really transformational in how quickly you will be able to get return on your investment, and how quickly you then, and this is almost even more important, how quickly will you then be able to adapt to changing conditions and whatever new ways you need to transform. Because I think that in the future, you're going to need to transform your business models a whole lot more often than you have so far. And you need the tools, and you need automation, and you need all these things to just work, to make that work. No one gets any extra credit for being digital today, right? We're kind of in the post-digital or digitalization society. So now it's really about how do you transform with digital. You can't, just digital, who cares? How are you transforming your business with digital? And look towards IA for sure. It's definitely part of the thing. And I would say look towards low code, because that's I think, and many think with me, that's where it's going to be.
Okay, that's brilliant. I mean, we covered a lot of ground, and I've enjoyed chatting to you. So thanks very much indeed for your time.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.